Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Today, my name is Gary, and I'm here today with Onlive to show you how you can make your virtual events the most amazingly thing that you can do during COVID, especially with the Omicron variant that's happening here. And with virtual events, there's so many things that you can do. And today, I'm here with the founder of Onlive, Jonathan. So, Jonathan, can you come up here? Oh, hey,
Hi
Jonathan.
there. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for
Awesome.
having
How
me.
are you? Everything okay, my friend?
Well, it's getting late here in Singapore. It's 10:50 p.m. So long Monday coming shortly to its end.
Ooh, yeah, that is a long Monday, but at least you have a shorter Tuesday, hopefully.
Hopefully, I'm getting my third shot tomorrow of the booster shot, so I'm quite happy about that. Quite timely
Uh,
given everything that's going on.
yeah, I'm still waiting mine. I haven't received any word or letter or email or anything, but we'll see from my end as well. But I hope everything goes well for you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Um,
So, guys, today I'm here with Jonathan, the founder of OnLive, and we'd like to talk about how virtual events can be amazing for your business and for your brand, especially in the long term. So, Jonathan, I have some questions here that most of our viewers have been asking us, and essentially on how OnLive tackle these types of situations that brands have when it comes to online events. So, are you ready?
yeah. Go for it.
Awesome. Okay, then. So, Jonathan, the first question is that many people are trying to go physically, but they want to still go with virtual events. Now, there are hybrid events and there are fully virtual events. Which do you think is best? Do you think hybrid events or fully events? And if so, can you show us how you tackle this inside of OnLive?
Absolutely. I mean, there are some events that could be fully translated virtually. There are some
Mhm.
events that definitely benefit from being fully virtual because of the wider net that you could attract audience. But then, of course, there are the events where you would ideally want people to also be able to visit in person as well. So, say, for example, an annual general meeting, a event with a sort of a strong networking or face value where it would be ideal to have people in person as well. And given the restrictions that many countries imposing currently, maybe you can only invite a selected few, so maybe 100, 200, 500 in some countries. And of course, there's the travel restrictions as well. So not being able to invite your foreign guests, and I guess that's largely a current topic with the news of the new variant and so forth. So those sort of travel restrictions are definitely a concern for many organizers, and that they might have to resort to having a larger part of the audience joining virtually and a smaller portion domestically or in person.
I understand. Thank you for that in-depth answer, Jonathan. So now that Omicron is this variant that's coming back, and I'm going to assume that a lot of people are going to go using virtual events again. What is the best thing that when you're using virtual events during this time, as in terms of like, is it good for any brand to use virtual events for their own business marketing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a way to keep your audience engaged and keep up to date with your product offerings or career fairs if you're mass recruiting or other sorts of activities that you would normally have for events, and that could be employee engagement and sales and partner conferences as well. So definitely no reason to put a halt to all of your activities and sort of wait out. And from a marketing aspect, we know that all of us that usually you don't stop marketing just because your situation changes. You just align your marketing efforts in order to achieve your goals.
I understand. And when it comes to hybrid, is that better than going fully virtual, or do you think it's best to go hybrid in terms of monetization and for your brand?
I guess it depends a little bit on the format of your event. If the crowds benefit from having an in-person sort of venue as well, obviously the cost would be higher if you're running both in-person as well as a hybrid event, because you have to again rent a venue. You need to do your security screenings and all of that stuff. But again, if the format is an event that benefits from hybrid, absolutely, you can run an hybrid event and greatly benefit from that.
Okay, then. And when it comes to OnLive, how can it help a business monetize and get money in terms of like, is there only one way, just getting tickets from the attendees, or is it there are many ways that you can show us on how to do that?
So in terms of the economics, we handle the attendee ticketing, of course. You could have a ticket type for in-person attendees that could be on a higher cost, and then a different ticket for the in-person for the virtual audience that maybe is a lower cost. They are attending as virtual, so you don't have to house them or feed them and so forth. So that is typical, a little bit less costly, and we support running these two different tickets. You can then also set that some sessions are only available for the in-person audience, as well as only for the virtual audience. So if there's a specific breakout rooms that would only be available virtually, the in-person attendees would not necessarily see or get access to that from when they sign up and select the sessions that they wish to attend.
I understand. And if it's okay with you, can you share your screen to show us how it's done inside of OnLive?
Absolutely. So my screen should be shared now. Yes. So this would be
Okay,
our
perfect.
dashboard. And if we take one of our demo properties here and we look at the registration website setup, it's loading the preview here on the right side. And if I would show that from a ticketing and form perspective, and I go into one of the ticket classes, I could maybe specify that the webinar here would only have access to some certain sessions here and not all of the sessions, versus maybe if this some ticket, for example, would be the in-person ticket, would maybe have access to all of them. And for some ticket, maybe we want to have a early bird. So we first set that price, that the price changes over time, and then yeah, it switches over after a while. So that would be one way of setting those sort of custom flows to what happens during the event, which sessions that you have access to, as well as our check-in solution. So when people arrive at the event, you can check them in for the ones that are arriving, and you can check them in using the QR code. Then you would, in the confirmation email for the in-person ticket, then include the QR code so that you can check them in using the QR code scanner and our iOS application. We will, over time, add support for dual QR code so that you can use any sort of QR code scanner and not be bound by using ours. But the benefit of using ours is that, of course, that you can also maybe print a name badge. So you could set up one of our different solutions that we have here and print using a Brother printer for a label sticker printer. Maybe go out and rent some Zebra printers. They're quite expensive to buy, so typically our customers rent them in from vendors. and then print the badges for the people that are arriving in person. Again, over to the sessions. Maybe some of the sessions would be in person and some would be virtual. There's ones that are virtual would, of course, be shown if I'm attending it in virtual. And if the ones that would have been filtered out, I would not even see them in the agenda of the virtual platform here. Did that sort of answer your question about the ability to tailor the different tickets for different audiences, Gareth?
Apologies for stopping. It says here there's a person, Latif Mia. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. He's saying that the screen is blurred. I'm seeing it correctly. Latif, can you confirm that you're seeing it correctly? Just in case, I'm going to make it as full screen on my end. So we can still be heard here. So what was your question, Jonathan? I give my apologies.
No, the question was if my explanation of how the different ticket classes can support both both groups of audiences was answering your question.
Mm. Yes, you did answer my question. And when so many, from my experience, many event organizers, they have some trouble with planning the event, like the software to use it and so on. Is there a way inside of OnLive where we can have help in planning the event better as well?
So we typically partner with agencies. So agencies are our good friends, and many brands come to us and ask for help with content, with creatives, with
Mhm.
sort of directing the event and producing both content but also guidance. And those would be sort of the agencies that we can pair up brands with. In terms of setting up the event yourself, it's relatively straightforward. When you press the new event up here, located up to the right under the watermark here now, it would take you through a little guide that would where you would specify the event name, it would pick out some royalty free images for you, and it would create a color theme for you. So you have sort of a starting point and a template that you can work from and modify to your needs based on the modules that you are intending to use for a particular event.
I completely understand with you. Um, do apologize for cutting in. I have a question from not a question. I have a comment from Latif Mia, and again, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. So I'm going to see into this, Latif, if just in case you cannot see the system. I'm going to send out a comment soon where you can sign up within OnLive and you can see into this exactly what we're talking about, because this is really the program itself, Onlive.io. Screen share is blurred.
Hmm.
I understand. I'm seeing that as well. Latif, I'm seeing it as well. Everything is blurred here. Um, let me send you another link if that's okay with you, and we will see on how to resolve this. I do give my apologies if this is happening on everywhere. In the meantime, while we're going to fix this, I'm going to remove the screen share. Um, So when it comes to planning, let's leave the agencies. And many people, most of the time, they don't know about the agencies themselves. They just go into the program and they just, they go into there and they ask support if there's any issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
Is there like a checklist that you would recommend in people doing before they do an event on what they need to do in a virtual event, or is there something else that you think they would need when planning the event?
So events are not really one shoe fits all in that sense. That some run a 2 hour maybe small time webinar sort of event, and some have many sessions. But it's always good to do a dry run, test your speakers equipment, make sure that their bandwidth and internet is not intermittent, and all of that. That is, of course, a good idea. And then be a little bit pessimistic when it comes to marketing effort. It takes usually longer than you expect to fill up an event, and do send reminders, not only one, but maybe two or three before the event starts, to make sure that people are haven't made other plans. Because again, for virtual events, maybe my wife calls, my boss calls, or something like that, something pops up, and I suddenly decide to not attend the event. So definitely it doesn't hurt to be a little bit over ambitious when it comes to sending the reminders about starting times, and so forth. When it comes to populating of content and all of that, that is relatively fast. I think the longest time is to get the dry runs of speakers and make sure that everything works okay from their end. If they're on OS X, share screen is, as you know, Garrett, a little bit of a concern, where they have to allow Chrome to share screen nowadays, and walking them through how sort of how that works, before they go up on like we are doing now, so you don't end up getting a blurry share screen like I just did, and we don't really know why that's happening to Latif.
Yes, I'm trying to see that in the meantime, and I do apologize.
Okay, okay.
No, no. So just to cut in this, Latif, or anyone else who's watching into our stream, if just in case you have any questions, please do tell us, because what happens is your name will come up on the screen with that comment, and we'll also answer it once we come to Q&A, essentially. Okay then, so Jonathan, I've seen a lot of people asking questions when it comes to virtual events on the security. Now, I know we're going to mention Zoom a bit because of their of the issues that they had, but there are some similar issues that happened with other virtual event softwares. Now, when it comes to your security, what can you tell us about your security for those, especially in the corporate sector?
Yeah, good question. So from an infrastructure perspective, we are SOC 2 compliant. We do our regular penetration tests. We are sort of end-to-end encrypted. And for the layman's, that means that all the traffic are encrypted, both on the client side and on the server side. Databases are encrypted. There is a white hat hacker firm that once a year try to uh, uh, prove us having vulnerabilities. If they find anything small, medium, and so forth, they would alert us, and we would adjust those and fix those. And the SOC 2 is sort of a overarching compliance that goes into employees, that they are having antivirus, that we are having all these sort of processes in place. Then on the stream side, it's using RTMPS and HLS, so that is also encrypted. Um, that means that the stream cannot be intercepted by someone if you're sitting on a public Wi-Fi, for example. That is usually not the problem that we're referring to when we say security of streams. We are maybe more referring to gate crashing, someone registering for the event that does not belong to the event, right? That is sort of the more probable scenario of intrusion for an event. So how we deal with this is that if I can share my screen again, maybe. Hopefully it's a little bit less blurry.
I'm checking on my end just in case as well.
Oh, okay. So we can set the entire registration website exclusivity, and that's before they even get access to the virtual platform. We can set that to a generic password. We can set that to the invitees only, meaning that only the ones that you have added to the invite database for this particular event will get access to register for the event. in the first place. Then when it comes to the virtual platform that they get access to after they register, that would be either having a generic password that is changed on the first login, or a unique login and password. This is usually communicated through what is called a magic link. Magic links are basically a unique link per person that you use once to quickly sign in. So in that sense, we have those, um, I guess, two extra factors for accessing the event, and avoiding that unauthorized access is given. Yeah, that's sort of the security aspects of preventing sharing. And then the streams in itself is also domain locked, so it's not possible for an attendee to sort of take the stream and cross post this on some other network without our involvement and your involvement as an organizer. I think that's sort of the things I had on the security side. Gareth?
Hey there, apologies. So I'm checking on my end here, and unfortunately, it's still blurry for some reason. On Facebook and such, it isn't showing that. Just on LinkedIn, I think this might be on LinkedIn's end. But just in case, for those who are seeing this broadcast, what I'm going to suggest is I'm going to put up this wording here, and essentially, if you'd like to check on live on what Jonathan was describing, just go to onlive.io, which I'm going to show here. My apologies. We can show here. Can we see it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's showing on your end.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies, because it wasn't showing on mine. So yeah, guys, if you'd like, please go on that website. There is a free sign up that you can try and see how Onlive is. I do apologize once again that the streaming it was blurred on that end. I think, from my knowledge, I think it was taking too much resources there, and that's the bandwidth for it was becoming blurry at that time. But I'll see into this, and hopefully I can put up some resources just in case. In the meantime, guys, just to remind you, if you have any questions, we'll soon go for the Q&A, and you can ask Jonathan, and Jonathan can also answer them for you as well, live here. Well, in the meantime, Jonathan, do you have like a roadmap that you are thinking of, or not thinking, actually working on for your next QA?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a roadmap, and I think maybe we can put that up on the screen. And yeah, apologies for the ones who are having a bit a hard time seeing because of the blur. It's obviously software is never ever completed. It's a continuous effort, and right now we're putting a lot of efforts into the revamp of our streaming studio. So uh, moving that from being sort of API based to what is called a headless browser. And Bruce and I touched on that last week, or week before, sorry. And the big difference is it's basically gives us the flexibility that we would have from any sort of website, meaning that we can tile the content in terms of uh, speakers the way we want. We can include lower thirds as well as tickers or banners, things like that. And we're also going to add in virtual backgrounds at the same time. So that would be a big shipment that we're going to do in the early Q1 of 2022. In addition, there's of course always governance, so that's also in progress. We're doing a new penetration test as we speak right now. Then, based on the roadmap that we have, which is roadmap.onlive.io, one of the top voted features is webhooks. So adding support for adding attendees to our side, maybe sending that from your CRM system or from your marketing automation system, or maybe just a form that you're running on a WordPress or similar. We could then um, take that in through the webhook support. So that is one of the functionality. The dual QR code is also quite interesting. As I mentioned, we have our check-in app, but now after COVID, everyone is so used to scanning QR codes. So adding support for dual QR code support, so you can use any scanner that you want for QR codes, and then that way checking them in is a functionality that we are going to add in sort of in the near future. I think that's sort of on what's planned and in progress. I think maybe what's recently released that is some functionalities that should be highlighted is that we now support low latency HLS, which is a lot less latency than normal HLS. It reduces sort of the latency from our studio down to around 7 to 10 seconds from 20 seconds ish. And if you're using an external studio OBS or vMix, then of course low latency HLS doesn't help that much. So then you would probably be around maybe 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds latency. So low latency HLS is a great improvement for, I think, the overall virtual event industry. That standard that is released by Apple. I think those are sort of like the highlights, and then there's of course some small extensions, improvements all over. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, then. So I have some few more questions, if that's okay with you, Jonathan. And before we
Absolutely.
continue on that, guys, I do apologize once again for the Blair. We're going to put up some resources just in case for what we talked about in terms of like the screenshots and on the look of things. But if you'd like to see it if you'd like to see it live in front of you, like on live, just go on onlive.io, and you can have a free title and you can experience what we were talking about just now, essentially. Okay, then. So, Jonathan, let's say, for example, in recent events, so there are two differences when it comes to physical event and virtual event. So, when it comes to virtual event, there's a lot of high how do you say it, like when you invite someone, there's like at least a 90% of them they would come for sure. But when it comes to virtual events, we've seen that people they tend to like press I'm interested or I'm registered, but they don't show up for the last minute. In your opinion, as a as virtual events, what are the ways for me to entice people to come in? For my opinion, what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to give them free badges, for example, or free certificates for them to come. Is there any other ways, in your opinion?
I mean, always swag is always good if you have sort of any giveaways that you can give included in the attendance. Um, Gamifying a little bit of the experience so that there's maybe a grand prize instead. So instead of giving me a sticker or a coffee cup that I probably won't use, maybe you pull that in together and then you give someone an Apple Watch or something like that instead, and you use that sort of gamified leaderboard or the quizzes that we have inside of the platform to sort of drive the engagement and drive the participation in Q and A's, polls, networking, all of those sort of aspects, and you promote us as part of the event that the ones winning the gamification or uh, a person from the top 10 will be awarded prize ABC. That really helps with overall uptake. It helps also with overall engagement, where people are more likely to try out the things that you have spent time putting together for them. Because again, we provide the tools, but we know that people spend a lot of time and not always. Maybe they fail on the marketing side or on the content side for the event, and that's always a bit sad to see that their efforts were not all the way when it came to maybe marketing of the event. So definitely gamification helps driving engagement. If you can incentivize that by something, it also definitely helps drive the engagement level and participation.
I understand, and this might be a stupid question or not, but you know me, I ask a
Go
lot
for
of
it.
you know. um, are you thinking of doing something like that inside of OnLive now or in the future?
So we do have a gamification module inside
Oh, you do?
of Onlive. Yeah. So I can maybe
So
share my screen again.
before you do that, guys, once again, I do apologize if it blurs. If just in case it blurs again, I will put up the resources later on inside of the OnLive page.
Okay. So in the top corner here, that's a little bit. Let me move that out a little bit. Here we have a little
Mhm.
gift icon, and by expanding that, I can see the leaderboard. I can see my points. I only have 5 points, so I'm not very likely to win anything.
Mhm.
You, as an organizer, you can specify the point structure, which tasks to that should be giving points,
Mhm.
like sending a message, completing a survey, and all those sort of things. And there's more of these actions that I haven't enabled here. But adding a profile picture, everyone looks better with a profile picture in an attendee list. So sort of intensifying different actions, and we have seen some customers running a half day event where people have accumulated 10,000 points with the same sort of point structure as we have here today. Right? So definitely some people are very excited about winning, and it seems to work. And this area here is where you can also, you as an organizer can specify what it should say here, and that's where you say that the winner will be part of the top 10 will draw a Apple Watch, for example, or something similar, right? And that will definitely help to drive the engagement level and number of connections, networking, breakout rooms, and things like that up.
So, okay, then I'm glad that you have it. Thank you for showing us this, Jonathan. So, guys, apparently, OnLife has a gamification system, and you can use it too as well if you'd like. Once you start using it. Okay, Jonathan. One last question, and this question is mostly on in terms of like hosting the event itself. If, say, for example, I don't know what topic I want to do, but I want to get speakers. Let's leave the topic out for now, but I want to get speakers. In your opinion, as a virtual event, how do you tell someone that, hey, I have a program, a virtual event program called OnLive? How would you tell them that I have a program called OnLive? They most likely have never heard of OnLive or they've heard of it, but um, how would you get them to, talk about your topic?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Obviously, LinkedIn would be probably my first bet to do an outreach on. I would connect with them on LinkedIn. I would invite them uh, to join me for a session like we are doing now, for example, um, and see if they would be a guest speaker. That's sort of what you want them to become. That is hard work. Obviously, some people are very picky on what they attend and whatnot. But I would definitely start it from a LinkedIn perspective, and maybe start with following them. Maybe not start with just sending the connection request. Follow them, like what they are posting. They're all probably thought leadership, and post quite a bit, and you start by liking and commenting on that stuff, and then strike a conversation if they would think it would be a good fit to join your event
Mhm.
as a speaker. But that requires a bit of an effort to start from zero if you don't have uh, someone working on that for you.
Uh, when it comes to speakers, guest speakers, do you actually pay them or they come on your virtual event for free? How does that work
So
to get them to
organizers
speak?
that use our platform, I guess it's a bit of a mix. I mean, we have organizers that pay tens of thousands of dollars for keynote speakers, but we also have organizers that are um, maybe from schools or from not for profits and so forth. They would typically not pay that much for their speakers. We are not part of that process. We don't help with the monetization of speakers and all of that. So that is typically the organizers themselves who engage with speakers and fill up the agenda sort of with content.
Okay, I understand. Okay, then before we go into Q&A, Jonathan, is there any other questions from your end or that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think I'm good. This is sort of I'm talking so much, so I feel like let someone else do the talking, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I completely understand. Sometimes, as the founder of OneLife, I can understand that you have to talk a lot, especially inside of events. So you kind of, um, you need that type of rest. Okay, then. So we have one question here from Latif Mia. Um, I'm going to share his comment. Can you see his comment?
Yeah, trying to
All
read
right,
it.
he's saying, hi, for the record, it's crystal clear now. Jonathan, it's maybe off topic, however, I intend to use it for teaching online. Can you show me the workflow if possible? And surely I will be using it for events.
Hmm. Um, so you would have a sort of a master class format, I assume, that people would sign up for. That happens every fortnight or similar, Latif. And I would maybe first start with building up your registration database. So you would set up the registration page. You would promote the registration page through your various channels and incentivize signups to pay for your class. And then you would run the virtual event first once using our studio, present your content, and maybe send some sort of certificate, like you said, Gareth, after the event has ended, that they have attended your course. And then you would duplicate the same event for the next event that happens in 14 days. So you don't have to set up everything again. But maybe if you're setting this up on a C name, it would be your event, your class or course.com/event one. And then you duplicate this the same again. So it then will be event two, and then you would maybe attract a new group of people that would attend either the second session for this series of coaching, or if it's a new group of people, then they would join the second class, like we are doing now, sort of the second webinar with me and Gareth and his group. So that is sort of the steps I would take. So you would set up the first one, you would duplicate that for the second one, and you would send sort of a thank you note with a PDF type certificate to the attendees post event. And of course, if you're selling it, you would integrate with a payment gateway, and that way accumulate some healthy revenue from your courses.
Just in case as well, I wanted to ask you, Jonathan, if there are people still are interested, but they have a bit of difficulty in setting up their own events, is there a way for them to have a demo with one of your team as well?
They could, yeah, they could go on the live chat and request for one, and we can provide you both video links and potentially a one-to-one live demo as
Consultation.
well. That's
Yeah.
also possible, depending on a little bit on the time zones and so forth. But absolutely, absolutely reach out to the live chat, and we can absolutely facilitate that.
All right. If just in case anyone who's looking to stream as well, you can go into Onlive.io, just create an account, and if in case you're having any difficulty setting the event, or for any workflows or executions and such, reach out and ask for a demo, and they'll help you from there essentially. Latif, I want to thank you for your question. If just in case you have another question, do keep them coming. Jonathan, I really want to thank you for doing this stream with me. It's been an honor,
Thank
and
you, thank you.
I hope you have, please be safe for tomorrow, especially, Dana. So hopefully I have mine soon. I'm just, waiting any notification from my government. So, guys, if you have any questions, just put them inside of the comments. And for the next live stream on Monday, we'll talk about those questions on the next live stream as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gareth. Have a good day ahead.
Have a good day, guys, and take care.